A lot happier with how these greens are putting now. We got a roll on them this morning for the ladies comp, and even though my putting needs a bit of work, we can probably sit in our hands now with these greens. We can see the all the holes we made during the maintenance around 5-6 weeks ago. There's fescue through all of these holes now. They're a good speed. They're at 5.5 mil. Maybe a couple of light dressings, but yeah, we're in a really good place now. Eventually, it took a while having such a hard winter, but yeah, big progress made in the last week. Finally, a good sight to see sand in bunkers after literally months and months of flooded bunkers due to the water table. So it just shows you the difference in a week. You know, we've had a dry week, we've just a couple of mil of rain this week, and the water table's just sunk. And the guys have been able to come out and start sanding up the bunkers again. The water is still there a little bit, but we've raised the height up quite considerably of the sand, so they are a little bit damp, but at least they're playable, which is better than having these drop zones. So only a couple of bunkers out now, 2 or 3. I mean, there was 60 bunkers out last week, so yeah, progress. So we're out here on the right hand side of the 11th hole. We used to have a big horrible bank of burnet rose in here, and clag and nettles and thick lush grass. So we've replaced this with a sand scrape. It only took just over a day to do, and you can see we've broken up a little bit with some islands which look a little bit artificial just now, but over a good spell of time the wind will blow about, and the weather will help settle this, and it'll end up looking as nice as what we've got down the left hand side of the hole, which are actually our nicest sand scrapes in the whole course. By introducing these small scrapes through the course into little bits of the flat land, we kind of make the bigger ones look a little bit less contrived. And as I said, and many times before, really trying to restore the dunes to what they were like probably back as early as the 1930s or before. So really happy with how this has turned out. We can play the video now and you can see. Down at the left hand side of the second hole, you can see these gorse bushes that were cut, trimmed really short and cleared out. At the bottoms was the video we did a while back. All these have started to bud now, so I would expect all of these, everything would bud by around June time, and they'll start to really thicken out in a year's time. We'll have complete cover. So you can see here clearly the buds coming through. So this gorse was cut down this time last year, so I would expect the area in the last video I showed you to look like this now in a year's time. You see some lovely Spanish bluebells growing in amongst, and by cutting off that sandstone wall, really, it's a nice feature now. It reveals the wall, which is beautiful, and yeah, there's loads happening here, which is pretty cool. So the dune on the left of 15th turned out to be a really big job. We obviously had a lot of stuff to get rid of from the road at the left hand side of the second, and our compost heap, all the gorse cuttings that we did throughout the winter, but everything's underneath this dune now, capped with a metre of sand. We've created little blowout areas that'll be covered in marm grass in the future, and other grasses, but we've seeded off the area between the dune and the sand scrape, and you can obviously see behind us we've got the irrigation going, which will pop up every now and then to try and keep that seed damp. It's going to be a slow burner because growing fescue in sand is very difficult. Needs quite a bit of fertility and water, and we'll probably do a dry spell now after all this rain. Just unfortunate at the time we finished it. Had it been done 2 months earlier, we would have had full grass coverage and good separation, but this is done. Tony from Golflink Evolve done some fantastic shaping and translocation work around this and the scrape. So yeah, we're just going to start growing this back in now, but patience is key with this area. This is a scrape that we extended the back end of last year. You can see there's some beautiful bits of marm grass coming through naturally here. This will be the ideal situation for any scrape going forward. Really just taking the tops off the surfaces and revealing that seed bed. getting rid of the rank material and letting the good stuff come through. So this is our demonstration Husqvarna Sciora mower, robot mower, autonomous. We were asked by the guys at Husqvarna if we wanted a shot, and very interested to find out how they got on, and I'm unbelievably surprised actually that it would cut as well as this on a links fairway. I'm not saying this is the way forward for us on our links golf course, because I really believe that on a fairway mower we want a roller to kind of tighten up and compress the top of the turf and also give that shine, but there's certainly a place for these, whether it be on the range, infrastructure areas or paths. I mean, the job it's done has been amazing. This one just now, and we're on the 5th fairway, is cut into 11mm, and by constantly going back and recharging and coming back out at night or during the day when the golf course is quiet, we can change all this by our phones. We can change the cutting height in our phone, the direction. It's very safe to use. It'll stop when a golfer goes near it. I mean, you can just hear it nipping away at the tops of the fescue here. It doesn't let it get too long, you know, because it's always going out, and when it knows that it wants to recharge, it'll go back to its house, which is currently situated at the halfway hut. But I can look in underneath this just now, and I'll show you another video in a second. You can see it is actually still trimming. The grass is still growing and just kind of keeping that cut down all the time. But I reckon £300 a year to charge this. So you think of the labour savings from areas that maybe are a bit more menial, and also fuel savings as well from running a diesel mower, and you're also talking about sustainability and the environmental impact as well. So very impressed with these so far. Here she comes. You can just hear it nipping away there. Little bits of grass flying off. And there you go, there's the finish. I mean, we would never usually want stripes on a links golf course, apart from maybe on the tees and the greens, but the amount of times this will cut, these stripes will disappear. But you can just imagine these being brilliant in your garden as well. So yeah, this is the future. So here we have the girls. I'm calling them the girls. I'm not really sure if they're girls or boys, but they're back at their charging stations. We've got the big Sciora and we've got the 550. So yeah, they'll, whenever they need charge, they'll mosey their way back through the course, through a route that we've made, and they'll sit here for 2.5 hours before venturing out to either finish a job or start a new one.